So, Lone Rider, and just wanted to make a brief point, which is please make sure you stop for stop signs. I was coming home this morning, and there was a sort of a four-way intersection after entering a parking lot. Within the parking lot, there was some dividers. There was a traffic lane going this way, which had a stop sign, and then would go traffic coming this way, which had a stop sign, and then there was myself, who had no traffic control device, whatever, and was simply turning into the driveway. And the people at the stop sign facing me, as I was approaching, just went. They had been waiting, and then they went. It was as if they thought it was a four-way stop. Now, just because you stop at a stop sign doesn't mean you can then just go, irregardless of whatever's going on in front, or regardless, I should say, irregardless isn't really a word, but regardless of whatever's going on in front of you, you shouldn't just be able to go just because you stopped at a stop sign. You have an obligation, moral, legal, etc., to be aware that the way is clear to proceed. That includes not just looking for physical obstructions, but understanding what everybody around you is going to do, or at least is in a position to do, right? So you really have to actually understand the type of intersection it is and how that functions. In addition to obviously keeping your eyes skinned for, actual physical things in your path. Because if you just look for what's in your path when you're talking about vehicles that are moving at speed, even in a parking lot, they're not going that fast, but they're still moving. If you only look at what's directly in front of you and not what could be in front of you in 5 seconds, you could have an accident, right? I mean, peripheral vision and whatnot and things that are coming. So this was like one of the, what the hell's wrong? Obviously this person knows there's no stop sign. She's looking straight at where I am. Obviously they know there's no stop sign. I was trying to figure out a way to excuse the behavior. Well, why would somebody do that except for maybe just plain assholery? The only thing I could come up with is that because the traffic turning into the driveway and going this way often backs up because of the poor redesign of the parking lot. It was redesigned a few years ago by apparently Jerry's kids. The traffic often actually backs up to the driveway. Now this, because people have to stop because of the backup, because there's people physically in front of them, this may give the misleading impression to people who aren't paying attention fully that cars coming in the driveway have a stop sign. Because, hey, look, they're stopping all the time. Yeah, because the rest of the inner workings of the parking lot are poorly designed. But the intersection itself, that's a driveway. It has no stop sign, no traffic control device whatsoever. Again, the layout of the intersection was a four-way with traffic going this way, having a stop sign and then proceeding, traffic going this way, having a stop sign and then proceeding, and traffic coming in the driveway having no traffic control device whatsoever. So I'm coming like this, and I got to screech to a stop because this person who had been stopped at the stop sign just went. It's like, no, you have to stay stopped at the stop sign until there's no more traffic coming, right? Why? Because the traffic coming this way doesn't have a stop sign. It's not a four-way stop, right? And I tried to explain everything. Well, maybe they see so many people who are stopped simply because of the backup from the poor design that they think that it's a stop sign because they see them stopping. Maybe, but then that doesn't change the fact that there's no stop line painted on the ground and there's no sign. Now, if it was a stop sign facing the other way, they wouldn't be able to see what the sign said, but they could see that it was, a square with the corners cut off and that it was on a post. There's no sign there at all. Why? Because there's no stop sign there. Nobody has a stop sign on that side. That's the only. It's actually the driveway entering this thing is the only one of those four-way lines of travel that doesn't have a traffic control device or a stop sign. Why? Because it's a fucking driveway, right? So I honestly don't know what people are thinking. Now, obviously, if I'm coming in the driveway and I choose to stop out of courtesy to let somebody who's been waiting at that stop sign go, yes, I may very well choose to do that. Of course, I'd have to make sure that nobody's behind me when I do it, or I could very well cause a collision. But since I'm not intended to stop at that intersection and nobody expects me to. But that said, yes, I could choose to do it, but it would be my choice to let them go. That's very different from me being obligated to stop or them expecting that I would be obligated to stop. And I guess the lesson learned here is pay attention to your surroundings, be aware of your surroundings, and you know, understand what type of intersection conceptually you're dealing with. Now, this nobody was hurt. It was just a scary moment. But the thing is that if I'd been on my bike instead of in my car, it would have been very different, of course. You know, I probably would have gotten hit. Why? Well, the car has four-wheel anti-lock brakes and it's big, right? The bike is fairly small, and even if you do try to slam on your brakes and manage to stop before the other person hits you, you still have an accident. Why? Because you could fall. So you say, well, you were in a car, so it's no big deal, so why even mention it? Because I'm not always in a car, right? And neither is everybody else. There's people walking, people biking, people riding motorcycles. What for somebody in a car might just be a minor annoyance, could for somebody on a bike or a motorcycle or on foot be a serious injury, a trip to the emergency room, etc. So think about what you do, think about the consequences of your actions, and don't be an arsehole. Long runner out.